Hi, my name is Joyce Watkins King, and I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I have been an artist back to my earliest memories. My body of work over the last 5 years has been in response to the global challenge we all face because of fast fashion. Why are we motivated to buy more and more of them? Why do we wear them just a few times before we toss them in the trash? And what are the consequences for the people that are growing fiber? The piece in the show is really more about my personal connection to clothing, my love of clothing, my sense of sadness about what is happening with clothing, and to the bigger scale, what's happening to our environment. I really appreciate a well-made garment because I come from a long line of sewers. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, me. And then when I tried to teach my stepdaughter how to sew, who said she really wanted to sew, she just didn't have the patience for it. Cotton and clay are two of the biggest resources, or were two of the biggest resources in North Carolina. There are many potters making pottery, and they're moving to our state because of that wonderful resource, but almost no one is growing cotton or making yarn or making fabric or even making apparel. And it's such a big challenge. It's kind of like the blind man touching the elephant. I can look at it from many, many different angles.
My name is Patricia Downs. I am a fiber artist from Plattsburgh, New York. The work that I have here in the gallery, it's called sagging, and it is kind of inspired by the curvature and organic lines of the female body. In this piece specifically, I made the shape of this bulbous shape first with the grid of wire. When that's done, I tie and stretch to weave strips of fabric across the bars of the grid. Then when that is completely covered in strips of fabric, I crochet protrusions on top of the piece coming out from it. I love using a material that has already had a life and then kind of transforming it and putting it on a new chapter of its life.
My name is Camilla Brent Pearce, and my work is small-scale hand-stitched quilts using found materials. I usually highlight the incidences on the cloth, damage, use, its age. Typically, fabric I have sentimental attachment to. The piece in the show is called Continuo, and it was a piece that I actually started in 2007. Was more of a make work. Well, my parents were in hospice, and I use handwork as a kind of therapy in a way. It's the largest piece I've ever done in this style. I usually work much smaller. So it was in a drawer for about 15 years, and this show gave me the impetus to finish it. So there is a date stamp and a time stamp in how the work is made. You know, the top is very intense, small stitches, and it loosens up as time goes on. And the needle is still in the bottom, and the fringe that is hanging is half finished and half not, kind of like life itself.
My name is Suzan and Morgan. My piece in the show is called Pandemic Necessities. It's a comment on the priorities that Americans had when the pandemic came upon us. I had a lot of time to meditate, which for me meditation is thinking. I don't try and lose my thoughts, I try and think them. And I went into my local Walmart one day and saw all the canned goods were gone from the shelves, nearly every one. And then within a day, I was informed on the radio that handguns were also selling out in the United States. How can handguns be one of our priorities? And it made me think a lot. It's all hand embroidered, my pieces, and while I was making it, I also had many, many hours to think about it. So that's what I've done.